Hi friends, good evening. This is your host Ankit Khanelwal joining from Delhi, India. And we have Kimberly Calhoun joining us from North Carolina, USA. Good morning, Kim. Good morning to the world and welcome to Med Friday with Doctors.
Oh, and good evening to you, Ankit. As we know, we are world apart in two different time zones, but we're here to bring some great information. And I'm doing great here in Raleigh, North Carolina. How are you doing in India?
All good, all well. We are still fighting with the current pandemic and things are strong. It's a difficult time, but we have to get together and do the right way. That is what everyone is looking for. And we have a lot of experts and doctors, guiding us every day what to do and what not to do. And that's why we are safe and secure and we are healthy and we are talking about one world. And Kim, I'm not sure whether I mentioned it or not, but in India we say Vasudev Kutumbakam. That means world is one family. World is one family. So we say Vasudev Kutumbakam.
Vasudev
Kutumbakam.
Vasudev. One fam. Okay, one world, one fam. So I agree with that, and that's a beautiful phrase, and we need to type that up and make that part of our motto. Right? We need good taglines and mottos, and that's a beautiful tagline. And I think we need to not just say it, but live by it. And the pandemic, as we know, is having a tendency of doing up and downs like a roller coaster. We've also learned so much in the last 3 months together as a team. We have spoke with so many doctors and physicians around the world who have brought us some great information. I think one of the most important messages is that we need to, respect each other, right? The mask isn't about just protecting yourself, but it's protecting others if you have the disease, but also about building our immunity, which is one of the things I love about today's show is everything we discuss today with the doctors is always about the right and good things that we could be doing for ourselves. And we know that, having a poor compromised immune system can cause us to die from this disease. It's not just being old. It could be that you just have a poor and unhealthy immune system. And so let's get that immune system up, right? Let's get some physical fitness, but health fitness in place. And one of the ways we do that is by eating healthier. And Ankit came up with this great idea called, because I'm a little frustrated, and I think he is too, that we just don't eat enough healthy fruits, right? We have all these fast food restaurants and easy access to junk food. It's more cost effective to buy junk food. And so we're going to take on fruit ambassadors, right? Each of us, you can't get back on with me. Each of us are going to be fruit ambassadors. And we had Nicole from Jamaica with us, and she's going to take on being a fruit ambassador. We're each going to pick a fruit and we're going to support it and promote it as much as we can. Because fruit is very good for our bodies, as we're learning, and we're going to help reduce. Our goal is to help people become more fit, build your immune system, reduce obesity, right? Yes. And help reduce the fatalities from this virus. We're going to learn to live among the virus, because I'm starting to not believe in vaccines. But even if we do believe in vaccines, it may not be around for the next year or two, or not one that really works, because we all know majority of the medications and vaccines are more about the pharmaceuticals making money right now. I'm not putting them down. I think that they find a lot of treatments that we need, but I'm not going to trust a vaccine that somebody puts in our face today. I don't know about Ankit. I don't know about Nick or Jim or anyone else on backstage, but I'm just going to tell you right now, we need to focus on our health, and that's what today is all about. Some other interesting news that has come about. We've always said that COVID was just against the elderly, but we have suffered a great loss in our community. Every death has been a horrible loss, but we've suffered a loss in our community of a little 7-year-old girl, and it's not a fake story. My doctor, her son went to school with her, and she said it's devastated everyone that went to school with this little girl, because the children are scared. The children are scared of this virus, even though as parents we're comforting them, protecting them the best we can. And we tell them by staying home and wearing masks and washing our hands and coughing into our elbows is a way to protect ourselves. And then for this to happen was so devastating. And one of the things I like to do is learn more as to why people are dying, right? Because that's how we learn to defend ourselves. And there's a great TV show with Dr. Mike Hansen, who does 12 autopsies of the COVID. And I've learned so much through this. But one of the things I've learned is this little girl didn't, she died of what we're calling now the COVID disease, which is her brain swelled. And we're learning that patients of 20 to 30 with COVID are dying of strokes. So these are things we just need to be informed of, not feared of, but informed of, so that we can act upon them the way we need to, right? So that we can react properly, be prepared. If you feel sick, call the doctor, find out. I have had a friend who's been sick for a long time through this COVID process, the symptoms of COVID, and he's gone in twice to be tested and twice is tested negative. But something I've learned from Dr. Mike Hansen's autopsy reports is that of all 12 of his patients that died of COVID, the COVID was not in their throats.
Oh. Then?
Right, and that's where we test, right? We test in the nasal and the throat. The COVID was in the lungs. So, wow. but when he went to, not all of them, some of them, he said some had COVID in the throat, but not all of them. So this is something we need to be aware of, that not, and Dr. Yu has said this over and over. Yeah. Even if you're getting tested in the throat, not all the colonies are there. You're not going to get all the colonies, but these are full autopsies where they swipe it off, right? And no COVID in the throat, no COVID in the, it was all in the lungs. So we just need to be more aware of the science coming out of this. This is not transparency that is coming from CDC. This is not transparency coming from WHO. This is transparency coming from doctors that we know, doctors that we're staying in touch with. Yeah. And not just IB, but get out there and get to know the doctors, read the reports that are doing the real autopsies, read the reports that are coming from real doctors, and learn from them. We had an infectious disease doctor that comes on our show once a week. I think it's on Fridays. And he shares with us even his own fears, right? He's right there testing patients that sneeze all over him. And he's wearing PPE from head to toe, and he's scared because this is not something we fully understand. This is not something we want to do herd immunity on. We didn't go do herd immunity on chicken pox when it first came out. Okay, people, we were afraid of it. We stood our distances until we learned it. Then once we learned how to treat it, what did we do? Herd immunity. When we got the vaccine, what did we do? We tested it and then we used the vaccine. Why are we in such a rush? We need to do this right and think about it.
It's more about panic rather than taking the right decisions, because with panic, people don't take right decisions, and that is what the cause of a problem. And you remember that we started with no testing, and then we started with a lot of testing, and then we are afraid that why we are getting so many patients or people diagnosed with COVID positive, and now again a lot of people or a lot of countries are not doing that much of testing because they're afraid with the numbers coming up so fast, so rapidly going around. And what happened in Hong Kong? A couple of cases have started spiking up again. So in a lot of other countries. So it's difficult to come up with a solution or to come up with a plan. But the basic plan is prevention, which is always the best plan to have whenever there's a medical or any disturbances. Prevention is better than cure. And secondly, you need to boost your immunity and take the right decisions, follow the right precautions, be productive for your family, for your neighborhood, and for your country. And also follow the right things. I mean, follow the distancing, wash your hands, try to avoid sanitizers as much as you can, because sanitizers would be good, but sometimes it's not good in excess of heat. You know what happened? People are using sanitizers in India. They are using sanitizers everywhere. And in India, we have around more than 110, 120 degree Fahrenheit temperature. And when a person cleans his car key with sanitizer, it just blasts away, because once he puts in ignitions on, and then there's an electric shock, and then there's a blast. And also, a lot of people they are cleaning their transport through a sanitizer diluted water. That is also a cause of a problem. So we have to create a lot of awareness how to do it, what to do. And this is not happening for the next 3 months. It should be a lifetime change, which we need to follow. And that's why we are on IBM TV sharing the best practices around the world. And I would like to welcome Rakesh D from Hong Kong, Billy from Australia, and Jimmy from California. Welcome to IBM TV. And good morning to everyone, and good evening to Rakesh D.
Good evening, everyone. And, I think these are some good things that we've always tried to promote here on IBM TV, is that we don't have these answers, but we do have some basic practices that we could do. And one of them to me is just pure common respect. Okay, facts, not fear. We know that you distance yourself, that the odds of you catching it are going to be slim. We know that it can live on surfaces for a long time. So clean your surfaces. These are just common everyday practices that we just need to get back into. And check it out. There's Nick, who's
Good morning, Nick.
Nick's dying.
I'm dying.
So real quick, Nick, how's your wife?
Oh, we don't know yet. She had her test yesterday, and they haven't come back with the results. They said, quote, now this is Duke, takes 2 to 3 days. Oh, great. But she's feeling okay right now, but she has a fever. And the minute she had a fever, I said, hey, look, one thing that we know a little bit about is the people that die come in too late. They come in, I can't breathe. Can you help me? And they go, well, let me see. We'll put you intubate you. What does that mean? We're going to knock you out. No. And then put you on a ventilator. No. And your odds of living are 20%. Okay, see, that's not good. You need to go in early and get treatment, seek treatment first, because there are a lot of things they can do, from prednisone, which Dr. Moskowitz was saying, to quicentrin, to Tamarack, which is Jim, which Irina Kirsch did. Okay, so there are things that you can do to improve your condition. But if you come in, I can't breathe, it's time. Okay, you're gonna end up in the mortality file. That's
Nick. Are you monitoring the saturation, oxygen saturation?
Yeah.
Don't point at me, Nick. Point the other way.
You're in the mortality file.
That's mortality.
So why don't we find out what's going on around the world, since we have some of the world here. We'll start with Australia, mate. Willie Hill from Australia. What's happening in the world of COVID down under? Give us a report.
Good. We've in second stage. Second stage, as in the kids have gone back to school. And they've staggered the entry. We've got the very young kids and the ones that are doing university exams. So the very young ones and the very old ones. And then next week they're going to stagger the ones in between.
Wow.
They've opened restrictions. Yeah, they've opened the restrictions. Yeah.
So in Australia, which had when NCIT gives the report, they had like about a little over 100 deaths on a population of 24 million, the size of the United States. Now listen to this, America. 100 deaths. We beat them big time. We had 100,000. 100,000.
USA.
USA.
So let's go to that magic city called Hong Kong. Rakesh, what's going on in the magic city of Hong Kong?
We've got 7 new cases suddenly in one suburb.
Wow.
And so they're being tracked. And so that's a bit disturbing, because we almost had no cases for many weeks. And now suddenly we've got 7 new cases. They've traced the patient 0, 34-year-old woman, and people who were in contact with her. So they've traced her, and so far they've isolated them. So, that's the only thing to report from Hong Kong in terms of the virus.
Do you guys have any riots going on there, or do you need some help with that? We're pretty good at that.
No, it's funny. At least in the area that I live, and when I went to the city the other day, as I did mention to you, everything was okay.
All right.
I didn't see, though I did see your picture about the blue water, but that was ages ago. that's not there anymore.
I'm innocent man. I'm an innocent man. Okay, so hang on. Okay, listen. If you guys need some help on that, we offer courses. We have Protester 101. It's a course, and we have Riots 203. So you can take these courses in college, and you'll learn how to do it correctly. Since the people in Hong Kong are not the pros at it like we are, we're
And
good.
if you know the right billionaires, they'll pay you to riot through
Yeah,
rock
we even ship you the bricks.
up and how to burn them down.
We ship bricks, no extra charge. We lay them all out so you can do what you need to do.
But you have to know the right.
And then you invite the television cameras over. Come on, guys. Come on, cameras.
So,
So you can film it like that.
in many ways,
We're good at this.
it's not funny.
Yeah.
But here's the reality of it. I have people from all over the world contact me about this now. It's the weirdest thing. I thought the pandemic would unite us, but the story of George has devastated people all over the world. And I'm talking about people from all over the world. And they're contacting me and asking me, is this true? Why do the American police kill people? And I go, and I'm trying to explain to them they're bad and good and everywhere. And, and they're like, is America really like this? And I go, yeah, you really don't want to come out here. And I'm like, you know what? This could really have been the only wall that Trump built, is that we are such a bad place to be. You don't want to come here.
Yeah, go to Australia.
We have the highest death rate to COVID. We have the highest infectious rates to COVID to any country in the world, even the poorest. And we know we have law enforcement that kill people. Yeah, don't come here. And that
is a tough place. That's
I had this one man say he really wanted to come here, and I go, no, you don't. You really, you won't. Your mindset of how great we are will not fit. Granted, we might be better than you in that we can eat and maybe have water and things like that. Maybe those things are better, but the things that you're seeking is not available. It's just
the average American works 9.2 hours a day. Okay, average.
What average American is that, Nick?
Half work more, half work less. So if
I work 12.
But really, if somebody does want to immigrate here, they really need to have a real lesson. First, they need to see a psychologist to explain that you need a little help here if you want to. Then they need a real person who tells them how this place really works. Then if they decide to do it, then at least they do it on their own accord. But see, a lot of people, you're sold the Hollywood myth. Oh yeah, and then the Hollywood other stuff, all this bad stuff. And it's kind of a mixture of both. But let's get a report on India, the world's largest democracy. And Ankit has his 1.3 billion followers, which we don't have. You add the United States together with Australia and Hong Kong and a bunch of other countries, we still haven't got the population of India. So what's going on in the world's largest democracy?
Nick, average working hour for an Indian could be around 12 hours.
Oh, the average working the average worker in India is 12 hours? Okay, so
average.
Average.
Some people work for 1 hour as well, and some work for 20 hours. So it's if you just put it 12 hours.
You guys work half a day. That's okay. What happened to the other half? Come on.
Sleeping, eating.
Okay.
They have they have good, valuable family time. They eat. They prepare the next day, just like all of us, right?
Good curry.
I just want to know what average American only works 9.5 hours a day. I'd like to talk to
average half work more, half work less. So there's some people.
Unless you're doing an average of those who don't work versus.
It's the nature of the beast here. It's a beast place. So what's going on in India with your coronavirus, Ankit?
So coronavirus is growing like anything. We have more cases than ever, and it's growing in metro cities, especially Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore or Chennai, and things like that. And we have a lot of frontline COVID sports stars, or whatever you say. They have been COVID positive since a while. So things are not, I wouldn't say in good shape, but in control as per government people. But June and July would be the real hard months for us, because it's summertime and in some places it's monsoon. And so what happened is that it's already like a spread in the community. And the more we are testing, the more results or the more people we are diagnosing. That is the situation. So now the strategy is to test less so that we don't have that number coming up, and that's how we can do it. But the best part is that a lot of doctors come up with the home quarantine or a home package where they can treat themselves at home on a telecall or things like that. And unless they have saturation oxygen, which is less than 92, they will get admitted to the hospital.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. There was a study that came out from the University of Sydney, for what it's worth, Willie Hill, that said if you're in a warm climate, that the thing is the coronavirus has a harder time spreading because of the humidity and the heat and all this other stuff. But you're in a cold climate like San Francisco, that's a whole different story. So we're going to go to the great Silicon Valley area. Jim, Eid, what's happening over in Silicon Valley?
Well, before I start to inform you about what's going on here, I wanted to say that I've been given to understand that if we didn't test, then we wouldn't have any cases. Isn't that correct? I mean, that's what I heard. But if we do test,
That's a good idea. So why don't we just stop testing? That'll stop
yeah.
Go away.
Doesn't it make complete sense to everyone? I mean,
Okay.
Does to some of the people in my family, not my immediate.
Well,
my
listen, I used to live in Seattle. I mean, we don't fool around.
Wow.
We're
Just
ground zero.
It'll go away.
But what we're doing here in the San Francisco Bay Area is relaxing some of the requirements that we were very strict. Governor Newsom of the state of California was very proactive about taking care of making us stay safe. And the San Mateo County, where I live in, San Francisco, there's Santa Cruz, everybody was very conscientious. And we even had some curfews with the protests, but we've relaxed everything. But people are being safe and they're taking care of themselves and the people they interact with. And we're still sheltering in place, but a lot of our panic has diminished. So no one is running out and buying a lot of toilet paper for no reason. And
they started that in Australia, mate. That's where I first heard about it. Seriously, months before this happened, we were doing our and you can see it. It's recorded way back there. We had a report from Australia, and this is before the U.S. even had a lot of it. And I said, "So what's going on over there?" And Willie goes, "They're buying all the toilet paper." And I was going, "You got to be kidding me! No one's going to do that here." And then they made a run on toilet paper here. I was going like, "It's incredible." Somehow it spread from Australia to the U.S. The toilet paper run. It's kind of.
It didn't happen in France because they have bidets. So.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm a little bit. We're still trying to stock up and catch up with the paper products, right? Our paper aisles in this area are still really low and limited. But one of the things that bothered me was peach jam is gone. Like all the peach jam and all the stores I've been to, because finally I put on my mask and I put on my suit and I started going to all the stores because I'm like, it can't be gone from all the stores.
Oh, Pearl Jam's gone, so why not peach jam?
Pearl Jam, peach jam.
Oh.
I can't believe all the peach.
I know it's bad, Jim. Stick
apricot,
around.
they've got apple, they've got strawberry, they got grape, they got all the jams, but peach. I'm wondering, was there something with peach and COVID?
Kimberly, that sounds like a first world problem to me.
It is a first world problem.
I know.
In India, they're going, but there's no peach jam. What is this all about in India? No peach jam.
But I'm just wondering why peach. That's it. That's just my curiosity, right? I'm looking along and I just see one empty row in every store, and I'm like, did they pull it? I mean, was it full of COVID? I don't know. I'm curious, but you're right. It is a first world problem. But I'm just curious why that jam. I see these little things like this, and I have to ask myself why just that. And but there's so many other things now that I think we can focus on and move forward on. But I think that they need to be doing more research on COVID. I personally think transparency of the research looks nice, like not just the autopsies that Dr. Hansen have been giving us, but I wish they would show us under the petri dish, like film the microscopes of what they're doing. I would love to see it.
No, they don't want you to know. There's a lot of things they don't want you to know. So, shh, quiet.
You think we're panicking now? If we knew,
You're right, Jim. Listen, if they don't find a treatment toward the end of 2020, this is going to be a disaster beyond biblical proportions. But good news, it looks like they're progressing for various different treatments. So we'll see. The other thing is there should be an explosion of cases here in the U.S. very shortly, but then we also have the weather factor, so the weather may mitigate it. It puts everything in a question mark. What's going to be happening in the?
Well, what I'm afraid of, Nick, is that if the heat comes and the humidity comes and we start to relax, and then when it starts to get cooler again, there might be a second wave, and we'll be just fat, dumb, and happy, going around like nothing's a problem, and we're over it, and then we'll be set up for failure.
Yeah, well, there also may be what we call acceptable mortality, which people don't understand. It's the old frog in the blender. Okay, no, of course you guys didn't take biology. How many here put frogs in blenders? Oh, in biology.
We dissected them. We didn't blend them.
You
dissected them. You didn't blend them.
I didn't know what I was doing. That's where I became a lawyer. I said, "Here's a frog. What are you supposed to do?
Here's a frog.
Stuck in the blender. Turn the blender."
Why did we blend them, Nick? Why did
it was horrible.
them? It's disgusting. Yeah, I thought it was disgusting dissecting them. We dissected worms.
We dissected them. That's
no
right.
No one here put it in a blender.
No, never put them in the blender.
Okay.
I'm not quite understanding the blender thing, but I've heard about it. But
I just heard about it. I've never heard of it before.
There's some things that are best left unheard.
Yes.
What does this look like to you guys? It looks like a photo of the COVID, don't it?
It's a plant.
It's a dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit, yes.
I took a picture of it, though, at the fruit bin going, that just looks too much like COVID to me.
No. There's a lot of things in nature like that.
I know. I see it everywhere now. Isn't that weird?
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
How impactful a visual can be, right?
Yeah.
And actually, probably the first time ever I noticed a dragon fruit, right? I probably walked by it many times and didn't pay attention, and all of a sudden, I'm like, that looks like COVID.
Everything does now. My iPhone looks like COVID.
Just everything looks like a COVID disease, right? Or disease.
Actually, you're right, it does. It's orange like COVID. Yuck.
But one of the things that's been disturbing me is that I went into the fresh fruit and produce section, and the prices of everything, usually in the summer, they kind of go down a little bit. But the prices have gone up. A little bitty box of blueberries is $5.
Wow.
Okay. A little teenier, tinier, because raspberries and blackberries come in a thin box.
Yep.
Is $5.
Wow.
And this is not how we build our immunity, but they're making it, and this fruits and vegetables will probably rot on the shelf, because as we know, those are the kind of fruits and vegetables. Well, blueberries don't deteriorate as fast as the others. It's one of the slower ones. But the strawberries will rot in days. All of them will rot in days. But people are not eating them because they can't afford them. And we need to reverse this. If we want to build the immunity so that we can survive this virus, we need those fruits and vegetables to be digested in us, not rotting on the bins. And how do we change that? Anyone have any suggestions?
I would say that the government could invest and subsidize fruits and vegetables instead of fossil fuels. That's the first thing that they should do.
Oh, way to go, Jim. I like it. I like it.
The capitalist is coming out of me.
Government intervention is wrong.
Government intervention.
You know that.
The
free economy, Jim. The free economy.
Yes, we're all free.
Adam Smith is alive today. today.
I'm gonna get a vaccine for Nick.
Adam Smith is misunderstood. You do not pursue your self-interest. You
No.
enlightened
No,
self-interest.
you missed all the good movies. Greed is the root of all good. It's in the
Greed is
Bible.
good. Yes.
Greed,
yes.
no. Greed is the root of all good. It is in the Bible. Read the Bible. Greed is the root of all good. So anyway, as soon as you learn, right? So
The Grinch who stole freedom.
freedom is slavery. I mean, you got ignorance is strength.
Oh, George Orwell.
Oh, George, that was 1984. No, it's today. Big Brother is watching you. Go outside right now in San Francisco. All the eyes of Elon Musk are on you.
My internet
They
connection
are.
is failing.
Everywhere you go in San Francisco, Elon Musk is looking at you because he wants to know what you're doing. It's true. It's true. Even his little car
And you know,
his car-
everybody wants to blame Bill Gates for this. Everyone thinks it's Bill Gates' fault.
It's so ridiculous. He was warning us of
eyes
this.
on them. Look at them. The Teslas have eyes, and they look at you.
I drive a Tesla.
You know that? Yeah. I want Teslas.
Everybody drives a Tesla around here. I mean,
I know.
They're
Yeah.
bad.
Not in North Carolina,
Operated from a
Tesla
Prius.
dealers are not allowed in North Carolina.
No, Teslas are banned. They're banned.
Yeah, they're banned from, they are. People think I'm joking, but the dealerships are banned here. You can own a Tesla, but the dealerships are banned.
Not allowed to have
Ah.
a dealership.
I see. But the Teslas talk to each other.
I know.
And we download from the internet. We all download at the same time.
Looks like I want the bots on our chat bots to talk to each other. We have chat bots on our website. And I
Yeah.
want my chat bot to go out and knock on the door of other chat bots and go, "Hi, I'm chat bot from IBM TV. Who are
Yeah.
you?" And then this one goes, "Hi, I'm chat bot from Just for Life. Who are you? Hi, can we work together?"
We have one on our website right now, that COVID-19 chat box. Bah, 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 bah.
We have lots of bots.
Can we kill that bot? Can we give it a vaccine?
Yeah, really. That would be nice.
It's very annoying. So my vote is to kill the COVID-19 bot. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it just really is. But anyway, that's my thought.
Just a little piece of coding. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's a little coding, but
Reboot it.
chases you. It's worse than Elon Musk. I mean, Lord.
Where's Elon Musk?
You gotta have these things, the information, right? Education is elimination. That's in the Disney movie. I know we're gonna get copyright banned right now just because I said that. One of my favorite movies.
Nick will
right?
sue you.
Foxy Town. Foxy Town.
My favorite
And
friend.
the owl goes, education is elimination. and
Even
that's
the
the
Southern accent
problem.
helps.
They don't want us to be educated, right?
I agree.
Because if we were educated, then they would be eliminated. That's the vaccine.
Yeah, well, we're really not. I mean, the thing is, there's no instruction manual. Like, my wife is sick. What am I supposed to do? Just get it too? I mean, there was no instruction manual that came with it. I mean, it just really is pretty bad. And we spent $1.7 trillion a year for this, not billion, trillion in the United States. We spend more money than any other country on our healthcare system, and it's frankly third rate. Are our doctors at the top end really good? Sure.
Well, Nick, all you have to do is Google it.
Oh, Google it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there-
Google your health.
Google my health. I'll take care of it.
Hey, Alexa might know. Ask Alexa.
Alexa's having problems connecting to the internet right now.
It's disconnected.
I'm not kidding. I'm not.
You could ask it the wrong question and then your phone doesn't work anymore.
Oh, Alexa, are you having a problem with the internet? Alexa.
I can't connect to your Wi-Fi network.
Aw. She said,
You're so.
He asked the wrong
How
question.
was he? So
I
Nick,
can't
how was
connect to the Wi-Fi.
I moved my office, so I got to figure out how to connect her to the internet, which I'm not really sure because it's a box. I can't type anything in. What are you supposed to do when you got a box? Am I supposed
You might reset if there's a reset button on it somewhere.
You could be a senior system programmer. Turn it on and back up. Oh, turn it off and back on.
Well, he did turn it off. He carries her in his briefcase.
If you have an Alexa app, it's in the
Briefcase,
same.
and he
If you
carries
have an
her
Alexa
everywhere
app,
he
just
goes.
connect to the internet. You need to reset the internet on Alexa app.
Okay, be quiet.
You can find
Be
setup
quiet.
instructions in the help section of your Alexa app.
Okay, gotcha. So,
So
then I have to go through the health.
This is
So-
technology medical advice.
It's
He's
what?
telling her to be quiet. He's going to have to figure. She'll have to connect to the new Wi-Fi eventually.
New Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but how do I do
You
it?
need to do it with an
I
app.
can't type anything in.
She's
Download the Alexa app, Nick. You need to download the Alexa app and do it.
download,
Download the Alexa app on my computer,
Yes.
and does
on your
somehow
phone.
the computer magically talk
On
to
your
me?
iPhone. On your iPhone, and
Oh, do it on your iPhone.
And then what I do? Okay, so I download this on my iPhone, and then what? Does it talk?
Bluetooth
Then,
connects to
then
Alexa.
to Bluetooth, it will connect to Alexa.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
And there-
Google it, Nick.
That is
Just
really
Google
weird.
it.
And also, Nick, it's time to use Siri because you have been using Alexa, so Apple is
Kimberly?
afraid. And
I know.
So
Yeah.
Alexa. Wait a minute. I thought Alexa was Amazon.
But I got
Amazon.
Quiet.
Try to use Siri.
But
Quiet.
you're right.
Alexa, stop.
Your Alexa app.
I can't get her to stop. Okay.
One of the things is I should just wear this, right?
Okay.
But
Alexa should wear that. Okay. So the thing is, this is an iPhone. This is Apple. Alexa is Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah,
And they talk to each other.
I can't.
they talk to each other using an app.
Okay.
You can find
Alexa.
It's a protocol converter.
Okay, Nick. One thing, Nick. Obama is from Democratic Party and Trump is from Republic. But do you think they talk?
No,
no.
don't ever. Are you
They talk
kidding
on
me?
Twitter.
They hate each other.
They talk on Twitter.
No. The thing is, this election's going to be brutal this year. We're going to have a report on it, I think, after Labor Day, because that's all they're going to talk about here. Who's going to win? Who's going to
Yeah.
win? You know, and at first I go, I'm so apathetic. It doesn't make a difference. It does make a difference, you know, because apparently the executive branch has a lot of uniform power.
So
Well,
I'll,
under this Attorney General.
I'll show
Well,
you
not
something
just-
that's
not
interesting.
just
That you
people,
guys,
cabinet members, but making these executive decisions. In other words, unilateral trade agreements.
here we go. Check this out.
Incredible.
Remember this?
Yeah. I remember.
Trump were friends, right?
Yeah.
So the Clintons and the Trumps used to be really close, good friends, supporting each other, going to the same foundation parties.
Yeah.
Trump probably supported Clinton in his climb to presidency. And then what happened? And then what happened?
Trump was friends with Epstein too.
Yeah, and then they became enemies because they ran against each other for presidency. So I mean, look
Be
at
be
this,
careful
you could not have
not to
gotten-
shut us down.
you could have never found a happier couple group, right? Look at that.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what we should do is we should talk about Australian politics. Okay.
There you go.
First thing on Australian politics, which no one really cares about except Willie Hill. Name the president, or do they even have one, prime minister, or whatever they are,
Prime Minister.
in Australia.
Prime
Jim,
Minister.
name him. Quiet. Don't say a word.
Can't do it.
I
Can't
want
do it.
Jim Eade, a chess master, international FIDE chess master, bright guy from San Francisco, to name who the head prime minister or president of Australia is. And who is it, Jim?
I'll tell you in just a second.
Quiet. Okay. Rakesh in Hong Kong. Who is the big leader in Australia?
Scott Morrison.
Is
Scott
it
Morrison. Yeah.
Morrison? You're no fun. I should have gone to Andrew.
Don't ever ask me that question. I'm gonna have to Google it because
I do know one thing about Australian politics. You were able to ban guns.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
And
how they did that because the Aussies are wild, man.
yeah, and if any country you would think could not do it,
The last one. Plus, they have that outback,
Australia.
all these
Well,
weird.
Yeah,
India
they did it.
had a virtual conference with Australia's PM a couple of days back, and they discuss about COVID, China, and a lot of other things. And they're trying to create a partnership within Indian and Australian oceans, basically, so that they can do something to ban China. Because China, firstly, they have dictated Australia, and then they try to dictate India. And India is not ready to, drop down, basically.
Well, that's because they have 1.3 billion people. They can do anything they want. But speaking of which, and Kit, with your 1.3 billion people, do you guys all have guns? Does everybody in the country hold guns?
Yes, you do.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Guns is only for those who are like mafias or maybe who are like criminals or things like that. But I mean, not it's not available everywhere. But nowadays, because of the civil crashes and things like that, you might have people flowing around from here and there. But it's not that usually available kind of a thing. Basically.
So if I go to India, I don't get to see shootouts in the street or anything interesting like we do here.
No, but they have shooting ranges. They go learn.
You might have seen people, fighting for something, or maybe a cup of coffee or a water or things like that, or at a traffic signal that who wants to come first and second.
You're telling me there's an opportunity for an American to go over there and open up a gun store and start selling like crazy, right?
We are busy with a lot of other things, basically. We are busy with the rich and poor game. We are busy with the middle class family. We are busy with the religious games, Bollywood, cricket, and all those things. We don't have time for guns and all.
No, they're too busy trying to figure out how to fix
Okay,
it.
I got another question. I don't know what goes on in that 1.3 billion people. Do you guys watch NASCAR? Cars run around in a circle.
I never understood it.
We have so many cars. We don't have time to watch it because whenever I go from one place to the other, it took me around 2 hours, and I think I've covered almost like thousands of cars. While crossing from
you guys don't turn into and watch cars run around in a circle called NASCAR. Okay,
we watch sometimes F1. Formula One cars. That's it. But not like this.
Okay, let's go to Australia. You guys are no fun over there in India, obviously. Let's go to Australia. Mate, do you watch cars run around in a circle? Called NASCAR?
I've heard of it, but it's not really big here. The only one that's big is Formula One.
Okay, Formula
One car, but that's more.
Now, when I skip San Francisco, that's the land of fruit
Yeah.
nuts, and they don't do anything over there in San Francisco. We already know that. We'll go to Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, do you guys watch NASCAR and cars going around in a circle in Hong Kong?
No.
It goes empty.
Okay, then. You guys are no fun, so we're gonna help you out a little bit. Do you guys have guns over there? Does everybody walk around with AK-47s and big shotguns?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
It's called open carry.
Open carry. Yeah, there you go. Over in Hong Kong. You guys
In Hong Kong, it's only the police with the guns, nobody else.
Nobody else? Okay, you guys, you want to make some riots really exciting over there next time Mainland says something? Have a bunch of people. We'll ship you a ton of AK-47s and everybody walking around with them. That scares the beavers out of anybody. It's over. It's over. Like I said,
And Nick, you only have to drive north a little ways to find a race car.
then they got plenty of them.
Sonoma County, it's
Sonoma,
madness.
Yeah, but San Francisco's a whole different world.
Nothing around here, but it just drive in any direction, you'll find one.
It should be the country of Silicon Valley and just succeed from the United States. You guys have nothing to do with the U.S. Every time
I've been preaching secession for a long time.
I know. I give my passport in, passport out, and said these people are totally different.
Yeah.
And that would be perfectly okay with me and probably the rest of the country. So you just
we feed a lot of the country that hates us. We're producing a lot of the agriculture in the country, and everybody hates us.
That's northern California. That's north. That's in Sonoma
That's where I
Valley,
am.
Bakersfield.
Yeah, but it's the valley. You just go, and it's a different state. Once you go 100 miles in any direction, you'll be in a different world.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, the place is wholly weird. So in the South, I'll tell you something about the South. We're all the same. Okay, from Texas all the way to Louisiana to the end of the North Carolina, everybody in the South are the same. You go to California, they're all different. Northern California doesn't get along with Southern California.
Not at all.
People in the Bakersfield don't get along with anybody, and the people in the North End, they all burn fires there, and they all burn their houses down unwittingly. So it's just
Burning Man.
Yeah, they have Burning Man, and they have burning cities. Apparently, Paradise burnt to the ground. Things like that happen over there. So
Almond orchards for miles, and it depends on where. When you talk about California, you have to be more specific.
Yeah, it's where in California. Well, Australia's the same way. Like he's in Melbourne, which is a cultured city.
Yeah.
And Sydney is a big city. And then they have this thing called the
The
outback.
outback.
And you hear about the outback, but you don't really get the full experience until you fly over half of it for 3.5 hours and see nothing.
Nothing.
It looks like Mars. You know what I mean? The whole place is nothing except kangaroos. Okay, they got a lot of kangaroos running around. Bump, 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 bump. And then they have these Western taipans. And I asked, what's Western taipan? Well, that's a snake. This is what the rangers told me. I said, well, what type of snake is it? Oh, deadliest snake in the world. I said, are you kidding me? I've never even heard of it. Yeah, it bites you and you're dead in about a minute. I said, really? We're in Uluru. What happens if somebody dies? I mean, gets bit. Oh, we just stand around and watch them die. That's what the Aussies told me. I was going like, okay, don't get bit by a snake. And then they have this jellyfish, which Willie knows about, the box jellyfish. It slaps you and it basically kills your leg. I mean, if you get hit with one of these things, it's like an atomic bomb. And they have they have like 2,000 creatures over there that don't exist anywhere in the world. It's called.
And don't get started on the spiders.
Oh yeah, no. That is okay. If you want to go to a real foreign country, forget all these other countries. Forget India. Forget Hong Kong. Real foreign country with real foreign things. You go to Australia, mate. That place is big time weird.
It's poisonous.
It is just amazing. It's a world unto itself. That's when they call it down under.
Well, I
Listen,
just found out that the police are kind of fighting back right now, and I just got a report yesterday about the police that tore up the medic station at the protest, and they were not. This was again. We decided not to share a protesting time with rioting time. Rioting and looters are terrorists and criminals. So protesters have decided to shift their time to daytime. So they had a medic center set up, just like you would if you've got any kind of thing. And police came in and destroyed the medic center.
Which city?
In Asheville.
In Asheville, like Asheville, North Carolina?
Yeah, and I made sure that there was a fact check done on it before I looked at it. And the mayor's very upset because the police came in and threw their weight on people who were calm, quiet, not doing anything, just sitting there as a medic center, right? People who were supplying water, hydration, and food and fruit. It was food and fruit and water. And they came in and they stabbed every water bottle and destroyed every water bottle. And they destroyed all the fruit, threw it all around. And they took the people out of the medic center and manhandled them, leaving bruises on them. But they weren't arguing. They weren't fighting. They were just sitting there as a medic center.
Are they real police or somebody just wearing
Real
a police
police. It
uniform?
was the real police. This is very scary. This is what I'm telling everyone. Don't even go out to protest right now.
That was a very good question, though.
I thought the same thing. That's why I had to do a fact check on this because, I thought it was fake police dressed up in suits. But because you never know what people are filming nowadays. But the mayor is addressing it right now. This is very disturbing to me because the police should not be behaving this way, right? Regardless, the police should not have taken this disruptive of an action.
And they shouldn't be being egged on.
Well, they're not being egged on. They're here and they walked into the medic center for
I mean, egged on by our president.
No, they shouldn't. But look, they destroyed everything. This was the medic center in Asheville. You got to know Asheville, North Carolina, is a small mountain city. Very peaceful, quiet. They probably smoke too much dope. But and I'm not putting them down for that. They're just a very peaceful, quiet community up there. And the odds are the protest was very, very quiet, not doing anything. And the police were probably frustrated. They didn't have anything to do. I don't know. But they came in armed, right? They're armed with shields and guns and sticks. And they took the medics and they tore down their medic center and they destroyed every water bottle. They destroyed everything.
But Kimberly, I'm saying that they're being egged on from the top of our country. They're saying they're being told to liberate their states. They're being told to storm their state capitals. They're being told to, if this looting starts, the shooting starts. And so they're being told all of this information, so they feel empowered to behave this way.
To be
There's
They're
two
gonna come back
sides to every story. Two
What?
sides. Two sides to every story. By the way, this
That
is
sounds
one
reasonable.
side. This is one side. Looks like this actually took place 3 days ago, but it looks pretty bad again. But usually, what you want to do is hear the other side. Most
Well,
judges
the
to do
police have
that.
said their,
Listen
the
to one
police have
side.
said their side. They said that they were destroying anything that could be thrown at them. The medic
that's what I'm
center
saying.
said
That's
that
what
they
I'm saying.
had
There's
permission to be there by the mayor.
There's
The
another-
office.
no-
The mayor
no-
had given them permission. The chief of
Yeah.
police had given them permission to be there. And the police
There's
came in
another
and
side.
said that
Okay, well, there's another side to this whole thing, because there are the protesters who are legitimate and the rioters who are not legitimate. But there's another side of the whole story. One side is our culture. We don't like to be told what to do. Okay, and that's a real problem, because the thing is, a lot of the problems that take place between police and the people is police are telling you what to do, and we as a people don't like to be told what to do. Think about it, okay? And it goes on for a long time. Another problem that we have is we do not have a lot of integration with the police and society. They're like totally different than us. It's just like working for the government. If you hate the government, go work for them. If you hate corporations, buy their stock, and then you'll see what it is to be on the other side. If you don't like police, spend some time with them.
go do a day. Yeah, go do a day in
A
office.
week. In other words, my suggestion is everybody has to spend a week riding around in a cop car with the police. 1 week. When you're a student, in other words, when you're young and impressionable. Because here's the thing: think about their job. It's got to be one. It's on my list of one of the jobs I will not do.
I
Okay,
will not.
most of it you got to break up domestic violence. How fun is
The
that?
worst.
Okay. The other thing is you've got to come into a situation where somebody's screaming, yelling. The other thing is you got to come into a bad situation. You're constantly being bombarded with basically trash. Okay. And so the thing is, and not in a sterile environment. As a lawyer, I get to work in a sterile environment. The trash is handcuffed by the time we, present cases, or both sides are in a sterile environment in court. But they don't get that opportunity. They're on the front lines dealing with a bunch of, frankly, trashy situations. So my suggestion, so the people understand how they operate, and yeah, they're bad apples, is that you have to go spend a week in school when you're part of your classroom curriculum to be with the bloody cops here, okay? And travel around with them, see what it's like. Then you can protest and say, hey, they're bad, they're horrible people, they're all this other stuff.
Well, Nick, I know that it's all fruits and nuts out here, but I live in a small cul-de-sac in a small town in Silicon Valley, and we've had policemen come over and mingle with us out on the street with the kids around them.
Right.
And so they try to build that kind of relationship. But most of the policemen can't afford to live in this community.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. But the thing is, I'm saying the thing is, people have to sit in the other person's shoes for a while. Now, does that mitigate what that moron did up in Minneapolis? And frankly, there's a systemic problem with the Minneapolis police force. This wasn't the first time this has happened. The other time was actually a black cop killing a white lady in 2018. And he was scared for his life because she came running over to him and she pulled out the gun. They shot him and killed her. Okay, and it was like it hit the press in 2018.
Australian.
Huh?
Yep, she was Australian.
She was Australian.
Okay, but wait a minute. This is okay. So we have 2 major incidents in Minneapolis in the last 2 years, right? This is not good for the training of the police cops and how they're choosing police cops. I mean, up in Minneapolis. So it's not like I'm not mitigating the problem that existed in the Minneapolis Police Department and possibly a lot of the other departments.
Nick, what I'm hearing you saying is that you do have to look at both sides of this, and you can't have these knee-jerk reactions. The cops are bad, or the protesters
You
are
have
bad.
to look at both.
Yeah, right. Protesters bad.
It's more complicated than that. Any simplistic knee-jerk reaction is by definition false. You've got to look at the specifics of the situation. It's always more complicated than the simple idea.
Absolutely correct. In other words, you do have to spend time. You got to look at the overall situation, and you have to look at both parties. In other words, it's very important to say, okay, if you were in that person's position, what would you do? Now, it's not, like I say, I'm not mitigating what that person did, but police in general, what they do is, and it's on my list of jobs I will not do. The other one is be an airline pilot. Yeah, I just don't have the nerves for it. I love to fly. I love airplanes. Don't get me wrong. Great things, but I don't have the nerves for that. Okay. And police officers, think about what they do every day. You know, it's
I do. That's
job.
one of the reasons why I invented the tool I did to help support.
The tool that you invented should have been implemented a decade ago. Okay, and what she invented and has a patent on, which is quite simple process, is a restraining order by using a cuff, basically. So the thing is, when a judge issues a restraining order, there's a warning signal between this person and the other person that the person's violating the restraining order. Okay,
That's a great idea.
Duh.
I don't have to tell you that. I don't have to tell you that, obviously.
Jim, here's what I'm telling you.
On parole
Right
too.
now,
People on parole.
remember, our court system is not caught up to technology. Our court system
at all.
today, okay, if you go in and you get a, quote, restraining order against a person, all it is this piece of paper a judge issues. This is it. I ain't going to stop a crook. I ain't going to stop somebody. It's ridiculous. Okay, and we have the technology. What is he doing?
Oh, that's the wristband. That's the wristband.
Oh, that's the wristband.
This is the tool,
right.
Yeah. This is the tool we are working on, and this is like this basically. And we just have to wrap it up, and it will track everything, whatever you want.
Right.
Well, and the thing is it tracks it based according to thresholds that you establish. So it's all, so it only generates alerts based on the thresholds, and we generated tiered thresholds, right? So that you don't get false alerts, because you're always, if you live in the same area, but it's not just intended for, the patent is so broad that it doesn't just work for the multi-tiered tracking for domestic orders, but it can do parolees, it could do problem children, sex offenders, anyone, right? You can program anything. We can program distance of places, distance to cars, distance to people.
Why hasn't this been done 10 years ago?
Well, the thing is that we just got the technology working in 2017. We had it working. We were demoing it. And the project got the plug pulled on it for various reasons. And, you know, and it's a lot of money just to engineer the one tracking device is $650,000 engineering fees at the factory. So I have to have a $650,000 check to give the factory to engineer what they call the engineering design for that. And then you have to write up the parts that go into that, right?
I understand.
You have to do a bill of material. And that bill of material, to get an engineer to write that bill of material, costs money. So none of these things just happen out of this. And everybody said, well, why don't you use just a regular Apple Watch? Well, because it won't work, right? People can hack those. So we had what we called hack resistant technology, but it had to be proprietary, not something that already existed. But we used existing technology to show proof of concept.
Did you pitch it to Silicon Valley's venture capitalists?
Yes, I've pitched it everywhere.
Yeah, but you probably have to go back to Silicon Valley and pitch it again to those people, because that's a
great idea.
Advice. That's what I told her when I first met her a couple of years ago. I said, that's better an idea than I had, which is true.
I don't think they thought that the patent would go through, that it would fade away and somebody else would take it and run with it. And I've had 2 engineers try to steal the idea, and they took the software code and held it hostage. So, so there's several things that go wrong in greed, right? Yeah. But I haven't given up. We're going to make it happen.
Good for you.
How's Canada?
Sasha, how's Canada?
How do you like the mother of all haircuts?
Awesome. Hire that guy.
I don't have to worry about it.
You know, you can't even imagine. We were sitting at the backyard, wonderful weather, had a cognac and cigar as the guy was doing the haircut. I never had any such experience at all. It's well worth $200.
Oh,
wow.
My goodness.
Wow. It's
and
all
guess what? You know who paid for this haircut? General Electric.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're stuck. Yeah, you just. Hey, that's $200 Canadian.
Why people hate corporations? Explain. why people hate corporations. They're wonderful. They're paying dividends. They're paying for your haircuts and everything else. Why would
They're
you
paying
hate
for my
them?
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla is even better. Yeah.